Brian Ellithorpe, Nicky's Nightmare, 2021 Grand National Super Semi Champion. 2 wins, 1 second, 1 third. When a series is shortened from 9 hooks to 6, everyone carries that much more weight. Fortunately, there's a challenge accepted by every semi driver, whether on concrete or clay. Brian Ellithorpe and Nicky's Nightmare have taken the term long haul to the extreme in each of their 4 seasons as NTPA competitors. Bowling Green is the event nearest to Ellithorpe's Bridgeport, Vermont address. So to get to Pulltown with a chance to cinch is a worthy goal. And Ellithorpe achieved it with a steady performance at events over 1,200 miles from their home terminal. The first of those, Sauk Rapids, ended in a Sunday night 4th behind winner Ryan DeBrew, the season-long leader with Plan with Fire. A 6th in Wisconsin and a 3rd in Iowa drew Brian 1 position closer to Ryan. But a 5-point lead with 3 hooks to go in a class with just 7 regulars? Then came Morley. Nicky a win and 30 points. Fire a 2nd and 29 points. Then Bowling Green. Nicky a win and 30 points. Fire an 11th, 26 points. And an ominous groan from the power plant. Now the leader for the first time, Ellithorpe needed only to finish ahead of DeBrew's ailing rig on Saturday, but he claimed second to also capture the National Tractor Pulling Championship ring, on distance, naturally. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Brian Ellithorpe, your 2021 Grand National Super Semi Champion.
Hi, my name is Darren Hartwell, and on behalf of the National Tractor Pullers Association, I would like to welcome and congratulate our 2021 NTPA Super Semi Grand National Champion out of Bridgeport, Vermont, with the Nicky's Nightmare, Brian Ellithorpe. Brian, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
So, Brian, the year started out in Sauk Rapids, Minnesota for you guys. You had 1 hook. How did things go up in Sauk Rapids? A new hook for everybody, new event on the season?
Well, Sauk Rapids started our season not very good. I seemed to have a hard time getting started. You know, from the get-go, we blew a $30 exhaust clamp up there, and we just had a smoky mess. Ended up 4th, and then, of course, we had a rain out up there. So, and then from there, we went into Toma. More troubles, just small, small expense stuff. Ended up 6 out of Toma. From there, with the problems we had, I decided I'd run up to Minnesota, up to my buddy Lonnie Saylor's place. We fixed the truck up there. We had 1 weekend off, and then we went into Rockwell. So I flew home for the weekend, flew back out, and then we trucked down to Rockwell for our next hook. And so Rockwell was really our first hook of the season where we could look at data, make any changes. We ended up finishing 3rd in Rockwell. But that was really where we turned our season around. We made some good changes after that, and we headed into Morley, and that's really where our season got started.
So a big win for you at the Celebration on the Pond in Morley, Michigan. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it's always interesting when you go to Morley. It's just a great place up there. Everybody's just so nice. But we started out, of course, we were test hook, and that's always a tough position to be in. We took it way out the gate, so, we expected a rehook coming up, and that's always tough, getting ready for that.
Right, so you won in Morley, went to the National Tractor Pulling Championships in Bowling Green the next weekend. Very close, very, very close points battle there. The first hook, you ended up in the top spot again?
Yes, we did. When we left Morley, we just left Morley with so much confidence. I really felt like going into Bowling Green, if everything stayed together, we had a chance to complete what we were looking for there. And the first night, it just, it worked out good for us. And then the second night we came in and we ended up finishing second the second night. and we had flip-flopped that position with Fred Sanders, and we only ended up beating him for like 3.5 inches for the ring. So, you know, and while I was sitting there, I still didn't believe it. My wife was like, "Yes, I've done the math. You've got him," and I'm like, "I just don't believe it until, you know, they hand that to you." And it's just, it's pretty bittersweet.
Yeah, yeah, it got to be an amazing feeling to win that first Grand National championship. So you're the first Grand National championship in a long, long time from the state of Vermont. So tell us a little bit about the travel coming down and west from Vermont.
Um, you know, it's pretty much 2 days to get to any pole that we go to, and we've known that. I mean, when I first started pulling, you know, my thought was that we were going to put together a, you know, just a semi truck and run around to the local fairs at home, do some exhibition stuff, try to get some people around home interested in it, and you know, I traveled to Ohio and pulled with the Ohio State guys just once, and you know, the bug bit me, and from there it's just, you know, we just decided that we were gonna build things up and go Grand National, and we've been doing that for 5 years now.
Nice, nice. So in that 5 years, you know, I know you've won the Enderley pull-off a couple of times. What have been some of the biggest challenges to your pulling career in the 2021 season?
So biggest challenges in my pulling career is trying to get the chassis of the truck figured out. You can build all the horsepower you want in the world, but to get them through DOT tires and hooked to the ground and on a consistent basis is really tough, and I've struggled with that for a long time. You know, we've changed motor programs a couple different times. You know, and it took us a couple years to really figure out the multi-charger thing, and I think we're really onto something now, and there's more to come.
Good deal. So tell us a little bit about your truck and the engine. You know, don't give away any trade secrets, but, you know, just so our fans can kind of have an idea of what's beneath the hood of Nicky's Nightmare.
Yeah. So it's a 74 Kenworth 900A. And everything else after that cab and nose is just custom stuff, you know.
Yes.
46,000 pound Rockwell rears, Mac 5-speed transmission that Profab redid. They do a great job out there. Larry's just amazing to work with. We run a big Caterpillar mechanical 3406, and right from the get-go, you know, I got hooked up with Campaign and Super Roaster, and him and I work really good together. And we've really you know, we took that cat motor from a Pro Stock motor, and for some unknown reason, I decided that I wanted to run 3 turbos, and of course Kent's a guy because that's what he runs in his super stock tractor. So there's a lot of super stock knowledge there, and it's just been a blast.
Good deal. So what would you say are some of the highlights of your pulling career?
Winning the Enderley twice, absolutely. You know, and when you really let that sink in, that's a pretty cool accomplishment. When I got started, I told my wife my bucket list in pulling is to win the Enderley, the Bowling Green ring, and a championship, and we've done that now. So it's just cool, you know. It took me 5 years to do it, but we've accomplished what we set out to do.
That's great. So how did you get started in the semi-class? Are you involved in the trucking industry?
We are. I've been involved in trucking all my life, you know, from the very beginning. You know, we've owned companies that have had trucks, and we still own a company that has, you know, a small fleet of trucks. Semis, you know, it's just the semi-class I've always been interested in. You know, like going to our local fair, they'd always have stock semi-poles, and you know, for about 2 weeks after the fair, you're thinking, boy, I really need to get one of those built for next year, and you know, about 2 weeks after that, you're like, nah, I just don't have time or money to do that. And then, you know, so my career and my life got to the point where I was able pursue that. And a good friend of mine, Rusty Bagley at home, has always been into that. And he started building a semi before I did, and got me kind of interested in it and hooked. And together we built our programs up. So got to thank him for that.
Great, great. So a couple of questions. When you're the test puller, like you said you were in Morley, I mean, obviously there you blew it so far out of the gate, there was no question they were going to reset the sled. But as the test puller, if they're not going to reset, how do you decide if you're going to accept that first hook or drop it and come back?
As far as accepting the first hook, it's a tough thing. I mean, if you put it out past 300, you just never know. But you can kind of feel it in the seat of your pants. You know if that thing's got any more than it had. And most of the time, we aren't looking at 20 or 30 trucks in our class. So, you might only have a few trucks that you got to get that cooled off and get it ready to go again. And so that's a big deciding factor, too.
Okay, so you just mentioned class size. So do you approach a regular Grand National hook any differently than a Toma or a Bowling Green or a Rockwell, where there's a lot of vehicles in your class?
We don't. I mean, we don't worry about how many different trucks are in our class. You worry about usually the people that you're in the points race with. Anybody after that is just great for our class. I mean, we do everything we can to promote this class because there isn't a lot of people in it, and we want to keep it going.
Absolutely. So you said, you get a feeling by the seat of your pants. Do you know when you're on a winning run? Can you feel that in the truck?
I don't think you can ever feel a winning run, but you can feel whether it's going to be a good run or not. Usually within the first 100 feet,
Okay. So, Brian, who do you want to thank for helping you get here?
Well, first, I really need to thank my wife. I mean, she puts up with a lot, and the rest of my family. They put up with my grumpiness and whatnot and being gone, and so I just want to thank my whole family. I got to thank Kent Payne, Sandy Payne, Super Rooster Motorsports. We'll give a shout out to Hypermax Turbos, Cody McKinley, Corsa. He's really important to our program too. And other than that, just the rest of you guys out here that's making this all happen for us. Appreciate that.
All right. Well, once again, congratulations, Brian Ellithorpe, your 2021 NTPA Grand National Super Semi champion, Nicky's Nightmare out of Bridport, Vermont.